Hi, welcome to How to Repair. In this video we're going to be looking at cooker hood filters made by Bosch, Neff and Siemens and other manufacturers within the Bosch group. Now we'll go through the process of checking the switching system to make sure the switches are all working correctly, and I'll show you how to test them. We'll also look at the light bulbs, how to change the light bulbs and replace the actual halogen bulb. We'll also look at the motor and the circuit board, and I will try and talk you through any relative faults to help you diagnose the problem with your machine. This cooker hood has actually got one bulb that's not working correctly, and I'm going to show you how to replace that. But one of the most important things you need to understand is behind the wire mesh here you have an identification plate, and it is very important with Bosch, Neff and Siemens that you use the full ERN number. This is the manufacturer's model code. Because a lot of parts are very different on different types of cooker hood, and therefore you do need to make sure that your model number is actually in the item that you're purchasing. Now this is the metal filter. This is designed to catch any of the grease that's going up. They are washable. A lot of people say that you can put these in dishwashers and also use abrasive chemicals, but really the only way to clean these properly is hot soapy water, because some meshes are made of aluminium, some meshes are made of stainless steel. Now the stainless steel ones, you can use chemicals which will not discolor the actual mesh itself, but if they're aluminium and you're using caustic type materials to clean, they will discolor the metal, and this would make them look very unattractive. Underneath here you would normally have, if you're recirculating the air in the house and it's not going straight out, you would have a carbonized filter. We have these at the website and we do sell these. Now the first thing we need to do before working on any appliance is always make sure it is fully disconnected from the electrical supply, and that will disconnect the live and the neutral. Now to take these glasses out, they are very delicate. You will need a very small screwdriver, and if you look closely going around the glass, there are three little catches that hold the glass in place, and you just need to slowly and carefully, because the glass is very fragile, and just slowly go round and release the three catches, and then the glass will come out. Once you've got that out, you're able to remove the bulb and either test it with a multimeter. You should have continuity on any bulb. We'll actually get another bulb a second. Right, I have a new bulb here. Now these are a 230 or 240 volt bulb. On some cooker hoods you may have a low voltage. It is very important to understand whether your bulb holder is a 220 to 240 volts, which is UK and Europe. And on some machines you may have a low voltage or a DC bulb, which means that you have a bulb with a transformer, and the transformer converts the AC voltage that goes into the machine at 240 down to a DC, and it may be a 12 volt or 24 volt or whatever the voltage is. Now whenever handling halogen bulbs, it is very important that you never get your fingers on the bulb, because this actually causes hot spots on the bulb and can make the bulb blow very quickly. So I'm just fitting the new bulb. The new bulb is now fitted and lined up correctly. I'll just plug it back into the power supply, and as you can see the bulb is all working now. But if the bulb was in good condition and you still did not have any light coming from it, you may have a problem with either the switch, or you may have a problem with the transformer if it's low voltage or DC voltage, or you may have a problem on the circuit board. And what we're going to do now is take this cooker hood apart so you can actually see all the components, and I can explain as I go through the procedure. Now I'll just put the lens back in. You need to line up the holes correctly and do not force it. It should just clip into place very gently to make sure you do not damage the glass. The glass is replaceable. There is a kit that we do sell where it's the glass rim and the cover, or if the lamp holder is gone, then you will need to replace the whole lamp holder. Now, to actually get at the lamp holders, we have to remove this cover, and this cover also holds the glass. So it's very important whenever doing this that you've got a colleague or someone who can hold the glass while we take this plate out. So again, make sure the power is disconnected if you have connected it back up to retest the bulb. But to take this cover out, we're going to need to undo all the screws apart from the 2 at the back, and I'm going to leave just 2 in place until my colleague comes in to hold the glass, because I can't do both jobs. So I'm quickly just going to go around and remove these screws. Some screws are close threaded because they go into steel. Other screws are heavy threaded because they're going into plastic. So do keep them separate and make a note of where they come from. I'll just bring these screws up to the lens for you. Now this one, if I can just get this to focus, is a screw that goes into plastic, and this one is a screw that goes into metal. This is a much coarser thread than the one that goes into metal. So do take note of where they come from. Now I'll just remove the other screws. Okay, we've only got 2 screws now holding the glass in place, plus the 2 screws at the front here. So I'm going to undo these 2 screws at the front. This is the lamp assembly. Now, when we remove this plate, this will drop down, but it is attached with the wires. So my colleague is going to hold the glass. So if you just come through, Paul, and hold the glass there, please. And I will undo these 2 screws. And there's 2 more at the back here. And as I said, these glass panels are very, very delicate. So this panel now comes away. Now at this point, now I've got the panel out, I'm going to put 2 screws back into the frame. Not there. I'll use the other one. And this will keep the glass canopy in place to stop any damage taking place. Okay, that should be okay now, Paul. Thank you very much. Now this drops the panel away. Now at this point we would be able to test the voltage going to the holders, and what you need to do is you need to disconnect the lamp holder completely, and we now have the fitting. Okay, what we're going to do now is test the voltage. I'm going to turn the power supply back on, so I'll put my multimeter here for you to see, and I'm going to use my crocodile clips to hold the wires in place on the multimeter. So I'm putting the neutral on one side, and I'm putting the live on the other side, and that should hold it in place. I'll just turn the power supply on. Now when I turn the light on, you can see now, sorry, I'm on voltage, we've got 236 volts. That would mean that the power coming from the circuit board and switch is correct. If you do not have voltage at this point, then you may have a problem with the circuit board or possibly the switch at the front. And what we'll do now is we'll drop this plastic cover down, and this will give us access to the circuit board, which I can then show you and inspect for any damage if there was any problem. And we'll also remove the switch unit here so you can actually be able to test the switch itself. So let me just unclip this, remove the multimeter so it's out of the way, and I'm going to remove the whole lamp holder to give you a better visual look. These clips, you just press one end down and then it pulls out, and that's the lamp holder. If you do need to replace a lamp holder, you will see there's two clips either side. All you need to do is press them and then the whole lamp holder will come out. Very easy. And there is talk in the industry that there are going to be some LED conversion kits available for these to save on energy in the future. So we'll put that to one side. Now, which shall I do first? The first thing I'll do is to actually remove this switching gear to show you how to test the individual switches, not only for the light, but also for the three stages of the motor. Here is the circuit board. You could test it in place, but there's only two screws holding it, and it's very hard for me to film. So you have one torque screw there and one torque screw on the other side. So I'll use the hand torques on this one because it's easier to get into the location. And you just need to undo the two screws on either side. Also, be very careful of these sharp edges around on the stainless steel. They actually make things so flimsy nowadays that the stainless steel itself becomes like a razor and it can cut you quite severely. So once we've got those two out, then the circuit board or the switch will come out. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the switch completely, and whenever you do this you need to either write down all the colour configuration or just take a picture of the wiring and make sure you take it from a couple of angles so you don't get anything wrong. And now I've done that, I'm going to disconnect the switch completely so I can put it on the test bay or on the bench and show you the configuration and how to test each individual switch. So here we have the rocker switch unit, which is the lights and three motor stages. Okay, here we have the rocker switch unit, and basically you've got four rocker switches. The first rocker switch is a two-way rocker switch, in other words common to the switch, and then the second rocker switch which is stage one on the motor, is common to the switch, and then we have a three-way rocker switch on the next two. This means that it will change with the buzz bar included between the bottom rocker and the top rocker in the off position and on position. So just connecting the multimeter up to this on the light switch, and we'll just flick the switch on, you can see that we've got continuity. The second rocker switch will do exactly the same, and we can test that by flicking the switch on, off, continuity, no continuity, sorry, continuity. And then the next two rocker switches will switch between the top terminal and the bottom terminal. So we'll go on to the common in the middle, and we'll go on to the top rocker switch, and that has got continuity in the on position, and the bottom one in the off position has got continuity, but as you can see the switch is basically switching between the two as it should do. And we'll just show you the third one. Continuity in the on position, no continuity. In the off position, continuity. So if I switch this across to the top one now, we will have no continuity. Turn it on, we have continuity. So that switch is all perfect. What I'll do now is reinstall this to the machine and we'll have a look at the circuit board next before testing the motor. So we've actually reinserted the wiring according to the photograph or your notes, and we just need to insert this back in, as we know the switch system is good. Next we'll do a visual inspection on the circuit board. Now the circuit board on these do not have components fitted to them. This means that they're used just as an interface board to connect all the wiring up neatly. And remember, these screws that come out of here are the coarse type because they go into plastic. And we'll just drop down this box, and here is the circuit board. Let me quickly explain the wiring. This is the power supply coming in to the circuit board. It then goes through the switching gear, which is this one, and then comes back to activate the motor and also the light circuit. So this is the light circuit, which you have the left-hand lamp and the right-hand lamp, one live, one neutral, one live, one neutral to each lamp. This goes through to the switch. And if you followed either the wiring diagram for your Pacific cooker hood or follow the schematics, you will be able to work out where the wires are going. This is the motor harness, and as I said, this is the feed in, and this goes to the lamps. Now we need just to drop this circuit board out. You may need a set of pliers, so just be careful not to damage the circuit board in any way, just to pull this out. And that is basically the circuit board. It's only actually a track, and if you had a very bad short, power surge, whatever, which could cause damage to the machine, you would just need to inspect that all the tracks on both sides of the board are intact and in good condition. So I'll just drop that back in, and that clips up to there. By putting your multimeter onto this, you'll be able to test your power supply coming into the cooker hood. We'll just quickly put the lamp circuit back on. As we know, all the lights are working perfectly now, and I was just showing you the procedure for checking and diagnosing the problem. But this is the motor, and there's two ways of checking the motor. Firstly, we can check if any fields have gone to ground. Okay, to do basic tests on the motor, first we need to check if any of the fields on the motor are a direct short. This would be an easy test by clipping onto the earth. Don't forget, I have other videos coming out with regards in-depth videos on the motor and how to rebuild the motor and test the capacitor. One of the most common faults with cooker hood fan motors is the blade is not turning. This would either be the capacitor which has failed and the motor's unable to start properly, and you would hear a humming noise when this happens. And sometimes the fan blade itself can get damaged and not be turning in the casing correctly. But we're just doing a few checks on the motor here. So I'm going to turn the meter to continuity ohms and put the wire back on earth, and we will check each of the fields. So I'm checking the common here, field 1, field 2 and field 3. Nothing is going to earth, so that's basically testing for any direct shorts or open circuits possibly, or going to chassis, sorry. And now we're going to test each of the fields on the motor. Now I've connected the common. The lowest resistance will be the fast spin on the motor, and the highest resistance will be the slower speed, and then the one in the middle will be number 2 on the button. So we'll start off with the grey wire, and the resistance here is 93.7 ohms. So this, I would say, is the fastest motor, so that would be number 3. So number 2 should be a bit higher reading, and it's 187 ohms. That would be number 2 button. And the third one is 361. Now remember, this is a brand new cooker hood, so these readings should be accurate on your cooker hood depending on the wattage of the motor. Don't forget, some cooker hoods have got much higher wattage motors and some have lower, and of course this would actually change the resistance on the motor, but that's all good. So we'll just re-clip that back on. It is a bit fidgety in here, and remember to tuck these wires properly out of the way when re-putting everything together. If you need to check the voltage coming into the circuit board, again, you've got live and neutral here coming straight in. You could check the voltage there. And that's basically it. I'll reassemble the machine, just show it you working. There we go, the cooker hood's back together. It's all working on 1, 2, 3. All the lights are working. I hope this video helped you diagnose the problem with your cooker hood. Remember, we do a weekly show now, live streaming, where you're able to answer questions. Ask questions, and we'll try and give you the answers. We have guest engineers each week coming on the show from all fields within the industry. So if you've got a problem with a washing machine, cooker, fridge, freezer, tumble dryer, etc., do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, and this will tell you when the show is going live each week. In the description below on this video, I have put some links which will take you through to the relevant tutorial on the website to help you diagnose the problem. And also remember, you will need your full model number to be able to obtain parts for your cooker hood. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope we helped. Remember, if we really did help, you can always click on the Buy Paul a Beer page. Thanks very much indeed for watching.